I'm pleased to be joined today by Alberta Ag Minister Devin Dreeshen. Thank you for taking the time with me today. And now you just recently had a conference call with producers across the province. Can you tell me a little bit about what was discussed on that call?
Sure. It was actually a really good call. We had nearly 400 people on the call, and it was just an overall general update on what the province of Alberta was doing during this COVID pandemic, how we were trying to do everything we could to make sure that Albertans were safe during this time, and how we can try to flatten out the spread so that we do not overwhelm our healthcare system. And then it went into specifics about agriculture and forestry and the steps that we were taking as a province, and really a plea to the industry to say that we want to know as soon as possible if unforeseen issues arise so that we can do whatever we can as a government to be able to make sure that things like our food supply chain remain viable and intact.
And were there any concerns brought forward by farmers about COVID-19 and the impact that it could have on their industry?
Well, a lot of them, they expressed gratitude, the fact that we as a provincial government listed our food supply chain and agriculture as an essential service. At the time, we had asked for the federal government to also declare it. They hadn't at the time of the call, but we just learned today that the federal government has finally announced that our food network, our food system here in Canada is actually an essential service. So that was a big topic that came up time and again during the call.
And the federal government has just announced that they will be moving forward with the carbon tax increase. I know there's some concern on the Saskatchewan side of the border. Is there any concern here in Alberta as well about that increase?
Of course there is. It's something that we as a province of Alberta, we continue to fight the carbon tax in the court. We here in the province had our Alberta Court of Appeal have a 4-1 ruling against the federal carbon tax. It ruled that it was unconstitutional, and something that we are continuing this fight at the Supreme Court as well. So something that overall, the fact that the carbon tax went up is obviously bad for our industry and for Albertans. But we are also challenging it. We'll continue to challenge it in the Supreme Court on its constitutional basis.
Another concern that producers are having is seeding. Obviously, that is coming up, even if the weather isn't quite showing it. So, is there anything that you've been hearing from producers as it comes to seed and getting those deliveries of seed in with everything that is going on? And is there anything that the government is doing to try and help?
Well, it was minus 20 today, but eventually it is going to warm up. But the fact that we did declare all of agriculture as an essential service, that includes inputs, machinery, our fertilizer plants, distribution. So everything that goes along with agriculture, and it has such a broad, wide, sweeping effect to the economy. All of those aspects are included in the essential service. So they are allowed to continue to operate as normal. But when it comes to our supply chains, we are doing everything that we can to make sure that they continue to operate. And an example is the fact that our U.S.-Canada border remains open so that the 14-day trucking exemption, where if you have a trucker going across the border, they don't have to self-isolate for 14 days, that exemption is still in place. And there are other measures that we want to make sure that normal trade within our agriculture sector remains, so that farmers, well, even ranchers right now, when it comes to calving, that they have access to vets and to medication, but also when it comes to and vaccines, but also when it comes to our grain farmers that for seeding, that they'll have the inputs and the parts that they need to get through a successful seeding season.
All right. Thank you for coming on today and taking the time to speak with me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Take care.
All right. You too. Thank you.